Yeah. So as I said, so I'm the co-founder and head of product at xibit, and what we do, we work with mixed reality. But the whole point about this presentation is to give you an overview about mixed reality. So what are the different possibilities with the technology? First, what are the different hardwares? What can you do with the software? What kind of B2B opportunities are existing there? And if you want to start with mixed reality, developing use cases, how can you do that today? So the first thing that we want to get through, obviously, is what is mixed reality. So I guess most of you have already tried virtual reality. And so the virtual reality is about having a fully immersive experience, meaning that you cannot see what's around you. You are in a totally immersive experience. But for augmented reality, usually it's associated with tablets and mobile phones, and you can see the environment. You use these devices to bring something else to the environment. And then there is mixed reality. And mixed reality, to put it simply, it's an augmented reality, but more advanced. So it's associated with headsets. And when you put the headset contrary to the virtual reality, you see everything around you, but you see also 3D objects. And what is very exciting is that you can touch these 3D objects. So you can even interact with them, scale them up and down, and also it has so many other possibilities. So when it comes to the devices on the, let me just move this, the devices on the market, these are the most important ones. So there is the Magic Leap one, which is the one we use, the HoloLens from Microsoft, and Unreal. So HoloLens 2 is actually on pre-sale, but it's considered together with Magic Leap, with being like the two most advanced ones. And these two are mainly used in B2B use cases. I mean, you can also like understand it from the price. And Unreal, which gonna have like a very promising product for the end consumer to be released this year. It's going to be around $500. It's going to be more accessible to the end users. And the very interesting aspect about it is that it's plugged to the mobile phone, meaning that your phone, you can see content from your from your phone that can be augmented. So it opens very interesting possibilities in terms of end users. Okay. So when it comes to the technical aspects of the Magic Leap, so it's a very light device. And what you see on the left, it's the headset that you put. So it's like the glasses. And on the right is what is called the light box. So this is the round thing is where you have your processor and your GPU. So this very clever design makes it very light to wear, actually. The other thing, what I mean by standalone, is that you don't need to plug it to a computer to run your programs. So you don't need so many cables. You can just like use it and work with it. Very decent resolution. It has between 3 to 4 hours of autonomy. And one of the most important aspects that you have to know about it is the field of view. So obviously it doesn't have the natural eye level field of view. It has a less than that, but still it's a very decent one. So the one we're talking here about, we say like 50 degrees diagonal field of view. So if you see in this picture, this rectangle, actually this 50-degree is the angle between two opposite edges of the rectangle. So anything inside the cone is within your field of view. And it's very important to know that because it impacts the way you design your experiences. Meaning that if you have a very big object that goes beyond this field of view, obviously it's gonna be annoying to the user. But from our experience, it's all about knowing how to design it, and you can have great things. So also like in this topic about what's possible with the technology, there is something that is called space machine. And this is very exciting because the device can scan the space around you, the objects around you, and recognize the surrounding environment. So it can recognize if a table is a table, if a chair is a chair, and so on. And this creates new possibilities, for instance, of interacting between the 3D virtual objects and the physical objects. You can, for instance, place a 3D object on a table and it will be placed on top of it as if it was a real object. And also there is the possibility of using your hands to interact with objects. So there is like hand tracking. There are different points in each hand that you can program around, actually, to program what can different trigger events. You can touch something, you can scale up and down. So it's up to you. There are like so many interesting possibilities right there. And there's also eye tracking. So when you put on the goggles, there are cameras that can track where your eyes are looking, if they're blinking or not. And this is also very useful. For instance, if you have one object in front of you and you give instructions that when you have it in front and you do something, something happens. Also in terms of possibilities, so that you can not only hear, because there are like headphones, you can hear the intensity and the direction of the sound, meaning that you can place an object somewhere in the room and you feel that the sound is coming from a certain direction and distance as if it was real. So this was actually the last point about giving you the whole possibility. So possibilities that you can use within the Magic Leap device. And now that you know what is mixed reality, what are the possibilities, what are different devices, now I'm going to present you our solution at Xibit as a use case. So what we do at Xibit is basically building a platform for brand experiences. And what I mean by platform is, so many companies, let's say if a company wants to create a brand experience with mixed reality, they have to develop it on their own. In this platform, you develop your experience, and it takes less than 5 minutes, and you can showcase it and benefit from it. So that's the whole thing. But the question is, why a platform, and why first a brand experience? And this is where we see a very interesting opportunity for mixed reality, because it can overcome many logistical burdens, especially in marketing. What we learned with our customers, there are like a huge logistical burden. Let's say you want to create a marketing experience. First, you need a space. So then you need probably installations. You need to put things in a certain way. With mixed reality, you just need one headset. You go in any space that is closed. It's important. It has to be closed space, not an open space. And you can curate your content, and people can, after 1 minute, start interacting with it. So, and more than that, you can even record engagement analytics. So meaning how much time people interacted and how they were interacting. So all of this make it a very, very powerful tool for marketing and sales. So when I said like the many possibilities, there are so many storytelling possibilities with the UI that are existing there. So to give you a few examples here, there you can add virtual screens. For instance, you can place 3D sound. You can place obviously 3D objects, and you can play on all of this in a way that it's not showcased in one time, but on a sequential way. Meaning that when you move to a certain place, something pops up, you touch something, something happens. So the possibilities are just amazing. Yeah, and more than that, of course, it's a multi-user experience. And it's a very important point, because virtual reality is great for being immersive. You can meet other people with avatars inside this immersive new world. But with mixed reality, you can add another layer to the environment that you have and see it with other people. And this is a very important component of the experience. Being able to share it with other people creates a shared emotion, which is very important for marketing, at least. So I'll give you like some use cases of this solution that we have. So in 2019, last year basically, there was the TEDx Berlin, and it was around the theme of superpowers. And we got in touch, and we were thinking about, okay, how can we create an experience for them with the minimal effort? And yeah, we used our solution. We took a space, the one that you saw on the right as a picture. It took us less than 1 minute. We used 2 devices. We covered more than 400 people in around like 3 hours. And people came and they experienced something in a space, very ordinary space where there was nothing. So just to see how powerful is the technology in terms of overcoming the logistical burdens, in which in this case it would have been much more expensive and also much more difficult to organize. Oops, okay. Then also, like, we applied it in terms of art use cases. So again, here at Factory Berlin, there was the opening of their creative lab. And instead of bringing an art installation, we brought 3D digital art that took us no time basically to bring there. And we created an amazing engagement with the audience. And because it uses hand interactions, very intuitive ones that we have developed. So you can see that even kids actually enjoy it and find it intuitive. And this is actually what we believe the future being the future of human machine interactions, overcoming this mindset of having buttons, but rather bridging our natural way of expressing ourselves and communicating with what the machine gives us in terms of input and output. Okay, so that being said, what are the benefits from these use cases, at least? So yeah, in terms of benefits, so on the very first level, in terms of cost reduction, this can reduce the cost up to 10 times. I mean, especially if you think about like bringing an installation to make people experience something, that can be like very, very expensive. Also, in terms of logistical burdens, we don't need to move anything, which is also like a huge release. And it takes less than 1 minute to curate. So these two only in a very factual level, it's already like was very well received. And then there are like more the soft factors. And one important one is creating an emotional brand connection. So in terms of brand engagement, there are different levels of what a brand can create as a connection with its customers. And one of the highest ones is when there is an emotional establishment, where even the fact of buying a product or a service from a brand becomes just an engagement level. But there is an emotional connection where basically you go beyond the products. And this is, of course, like wanted by any brand, but it's also very hard to achieve. And you need to create the context to achieve this connection with customers. With the technology, you just cancel this logistical barrier between brands and their customers. So you can, in any space, create a very interesting experience where not only you see products, but you share stories, you have in a form of experience. So content in form of experience. Of course, when you use mixed reality, especially at this stage, you gain an innovative branding. And we see like a pattern from our customers. They want to adopt it as a sales tool, instead of using very archaic ways of having meetings with customers so they can show their brand and also their products using this tool. And the last point, which is also related to this, it's also showing complex products and services. So we think about products like small products, but it can also like be cars. It can be like a very complex product actually to bring in front of you, and this makes it very interesting in this regard. Yeah. So this was actually, so this one is about showcasing new products to customers in meetings. And the company is from the packaging industry, in the beauty packaging industry, to be precise. And it's about using our platform to make them bring their products to their customers in their meetings in an experiential way, together with the story of their company. So the benefits that came out of it, of course, it's an increased brand engagement. It's being perceived as being innovative, and not only it's a sales and marketing tool that is effective, but it's reusable, meaning that they can use it in multiple meetings or even in exhibitions. We worked with different companies, so these are just few. So House, even like museums, Kulturprojekt Berlin. So these are like mostly companies based in Berlin, but also like international ones. And we also, with the solution that we developed, we had very interesting feedback from media. And we have built a partnership actually with Magic Leap and discussed a new one with Unreal. And also like won like awards on the way. But the point here, what I want again like to share with you, and the one I like get into like exhibit much more. So if you want to get started, you like, and your organization, if you want to get started with mixed reality, what should you do, and what I can recommend you from my experience? I think the very first thing is, although I talked about it, is obviously you have to try it. So then if you tell me like you don't know how to try it, we have actually like a European network of partners. We can help you try it if you want. So let's get in touch after and we can help with this. The second thing, a pattern also that I saw, so it's very exciting. It's a very sexy technology, but it's very important in terms of your organizations to think first about your needs and your priorities. So what are first your priorities? This is like a very common mistake. The technology is very interesting, but what do you need now? Do you need just to explore like new concepts? That's very good. Or do you need a utility out of it? And this is a very important distinction. And I can tell you already, today, you can have utility with this technology, and not only the exploration thing. So this is what I would recommend. So try it. We can get in touch if you need anything in this regard. Think beyond just appearing innovative, and explore your company priorities, and also see if you can have a utility. And this is very important. So I want to take it more than that. That's it. And now, like, I would like to open with you a Q&A. So if you have any questions, if you have any point that was not clear, you want to ask questions about it, I would very gladly answer it in 10 to 15 minutes. Is there any other question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Younes Tolkien. First, thank you very much for your presentation. It was very interesting. I have one question about, I want just to know who are the leaders in terms of providing this kind of materials.
Yeah, so I don't like, I mean, I talked about it like at the very beginning. So if I understood your question right, basically there are three major providers. There is Magic Leap, there is HoloLens, and there is also like Unreal. Yeah, so these are the three ones when you talk about mixed reality.
Okay, and your technology or your platform is compatible with the three of these providers?
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't mention that, but yes. So like what we develop is actually like a cross-platform solution, which means that it can be used in multiple devices. But still, so when we develop a solution for a client, there are like standard solutions and there are like custom ones. Although like the devices, they have similar characteristics. Sometimes if I talk about the example of hand tracking, you have different possibilities, and when you have a custom solution, you have to take it in consideration. Either like some things can be repeated, or you have the best sometimes is just to focus on one device so that you get the most of your experience.
Okay, clear. Thanks.
Mhm. Anybody else? Any other questions?
Yeah, sure. Just to build on Eunice's question.
Yes, please.
So basically, among the three different devices, I mean, as you said, they're different companies, but the price range is slightly different between the three. And you said that the two first ones were mainly used in B2B experiences.
Yes.
So my question is there really an important difference between in terms of functionalities between the three companies, and also in terms of quality of the experience?
Yeah. Yeah. So again, so the for the HoloLens, which is the Microsoft one, the second one that I was like in the middle of the presentation, um, it's um, it's on pre-sales. The first version had half of the field of view, so now it has a comparable field of view as Magic Leap. So the field of view, as I mentioned, is one of the most important aspects, together with the resolution of having an experience. Because the bigger the field of view, the more you can see and the more pleasant your experience. If you imagine yourself like just seeing like a part of what you can see, it's very frustrating. That's one component. The second thing is about the processing power. So if you develop a very complex solution where you have to scan the space, you have to put virtual objects in top of this space, you have to interact with your hands. So obviously this is like very powerful things that you need to have. Need to have a very powerful CPU and GPU behind, and these two devices are can do the most complex tasks today. So the Nreal one is more targeted to end consumers, and the two other ones are more for B2B use cases, complex ones. That's why they are also like bigger and heavier, although they are like quite light compared to other devices. Yeah, so this is, I don't know if I answered like your question. This is the main difference between them.
Yeah, you did. So it's mainly a question of field of view, resolution, and mainly processing power.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Thanks.
Cool. Anything
Another
else?
question.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
another quick question from my side. I'm just curious about the coding language behind this technology. What kind of language do you use in order to do your program?
Yeah, so we develop in Unity, and we use C# for this. So that's what we are using.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right. Any other question, guys? And also, like, I'm curious to know actually that, so what made you, if some at least can answer this, so what made you interested in mixed reality?
Yeah, I can first answer.
Yes, please.
So yeah, so from my side, I'm friend of Zakaria, and I'm following Xibit.
Okay.
And Xibit gave me this idea to follow this new field. And also when I was in some events, there are some companies who start using these devices in order to show some experience. So it's really very nice to live this experience, and it makes people curious about knowing what is behind the device and what are the technologies used for this field.
Cool. And so like have you tried like other devices, like mixed reality devices before?
Yeah, I have tried once with the experience of showing the story of one product for specific company, and it was very nice because I was able to move some objects. I was able to, let's say, to get out from the real world and to be in this specific world about the experience. So it was really very nice. But I have lived the experience without knowing any thing about the technology. So I was really very curious to know more about the technology.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I mean, I tried like really for this webinar to make it as short as possible. I know like it doesn't make sense to go like through all the technical details, so I wanted to like give an overview, just the basics, basically what's the technology, what is it for, and like possibilities, and if you have like any questions. So I'm glad that you got to know more a little bit about it and answer some questions. I think that's pretty much it. So the time, like it's time actually like to end it. Yeah, but thank you so much, guys. And again, like I apologize for the little technical issue at the beginning. For the presentation, if you are interested, just send me like an email. I sent you an email before. Let me know and I can send you the presentation. You can have it. And if you need anything, let's stay in touch. And yeah, thank you again.
Perfect. Thanks,
Yeah,
Abdel.
yeah, sure. Ciao, ciao.
Thanks. Bye-bye.